What's up, everybody? Andrew Erickson here from Win Daily Sports, and we're going to be talking about the Draftkings Showdown slate Thursday Night Football featuring the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know you guys are excited. Should be a very, very entertaining game, but if you want to get in a little bit more action than just a little bit of an AFC South divisional matchup, you're going to want to go to DraftKings.com and you're going to want to play in the Showdown slate. So we're going to be breaking down the slate here, going with the best plays and kind of guys that you should be targeting so you can take down a huge GPP tournament. So starting things off, we're going to look at the quarterback position. So the two main guys obviously are Marcus Mariota and Gardner Minshew, making his second start as a rookie in his first start at home. And so what you want to do here is really look at historically, a lot of times with divisional opponents, you'll see that they historically play pretty similar against the same opponents. So Marcus Mariota, as a quarterback as the Tennessee Titans, when he's played the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road in his 4 career starts, he's completed just 16 passes or over 16 passes just once, and he's thrown a total of 2 touchdowns in 4 games. And he's averaged 161 passing yards. So, with that in mind, I'm going to be fading Marcus Mariota in this matchup in favor of Gardner Minshew. Also, keep in mind that Marcus Mariota is not rushing as much as he has done in the past. He's rushed for just, right around 56 yards in 2 games. Whereas Gardner Minshew, has played not even a full 2 games, has already rushed for more yards than that, 62 yards, and on 7 carries. He's actually passed right now this season, Gardner Minshew, for 488 yards, and his completion percentage at 77.6% actually ranks top 5 in the NFL. So I'm going with the rookie here. Go with the rookie at home. He's actually cheaper on DraftKings, coming in at $9,200 compared to Marcus Mariota at $10,000. So you save some money, and I think that you actually get more upside with Gardner Minshew than Marcus Mariota. The Titans are not throwing the ball downfield. Marcus Mariota ranks actually last in terms of downfield attempts, over 15 yards. His air yards is really low. His average depth of target is really low, or pass attempt is very low. So you don't have those big plays really with Marcus Mariota. So I'm going to go with a quarterback. I'm going to fade into Gardner Minshew as an option. I also would keep in mind, you want to make sure you check out the weather projections on Win Daily, as there's a projection for some wind in this game that could actually make a big impact. So you want to make sure you check that out on the website. Now, moving ahead to the running back position. Lenny Fournette is my guy. This is who I think you want to target in this game. I think that Derrick Henry is going to be the chalk running back at play. Makes sense. The Titans are favored, and Derrick Henry has been a very, very good running back. He's actually the RB3 in seasonal leagues right now. He's been really good the first 2 weeks because the game script has kind of gone his way. When the Titans are winning, when the Titans are in a close game, Derrick Henry gets fed and they perform really well. Whereas, in this case, I think that, but the one thing about Derrick Henry is that he does not play all the snaps. So Derrick Henry has played on just 54.5% of the snaps. Dion Lewis has played on 46.3% of the snaps. Leonard Fournette is the workhorse. He has played on over 92% of the offensive snaps for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is going to be on the field. Whether they're winning, whether they're losing, it doesn't matter. He's the offense. Whereas on the Titans side, there's game scripts where Derrick Henry can disappear. And so that's why I think that the best strategy here for the GPP tournaments in Showdown is to leverage that. So instead of playing Derrick Henry in a Titans offense that I don't think is going to have a lot of success necessarily moving the ball efficiently, you're going to see Leonard Fournette and stack him with a guy like Dion Lewis. Kind of filter off of that Derrick Henry hype with a Dion Lewis and Leonard Fournette attack, which I think could be actually pretty profitable. Dion Lewis obviously can catch a lot of passes, and DraftKings is a full point PPR, so if Dion Lewis comes out and has 6 or 7 catches, he's going to definitely be worth his $4,200 price tag on DraftKings. I really like Leonard Fournette, but again, it's possible he could get burned. Derrick Henry rushed for 238 yards the last time he played the Jacksonville Jaguars, so that's always a possibility. But I think from a leverage standpoint, I think that going with Fournette instead of Henry is the way to go. And I think that complementing that and kind of further going with that with Dion Lewis is a nice approach there as well. Moving into the wide receiver position, we have a look at some of the guys that I like, and it's not much. It's honestly, it's very not, again, like these quarterbacks are not sexy plays at all. So what I'm doing at the receiver position for DraftKings is to look at DJ Chark. I think DJ Chark is probably your safest bet at the captain spot. We've seen Gardner Minshew build a real connection with him, and actually DJ Chark has been, when targeted this season, is actually putting up a 158.3 quarterback passer rating. So whenever he's been targeted, it's been basically money. That's exactly what it's been for targets to DJ Chark. So I would continue to see that. Gardner Minshew is actually a better passer down the field than he is at short intermediate routes, which is why guys like D.D. Westbrook have kind of been falling off significantly. So again, I would go back to the well here and attack with DJ Chark. His 83.4% catch percentage ranks and 6th in the NFL, and same thing with his average yards per reception. So 18.3. So those both rank top 6 in the NFL, which is actually pretty crazy. I mean, he's being targeted down the field, and he has over an 83% catch percentage. That's insane. And the same thing goes along with another receiver, is Chris Conley, also on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he's got pretty similar numbers. On 12 targets, he has a 17 yards per reception and an 83% catch rate. So Minshew's hitting these guys downfield. So if the wind is not a big factor in this game, I think that Minshew can really open things up for the Jacksonville Jaguars, even against a tougher Titans defense. So that's what I like at the receiver position. And then my one kind of wild card play, I would say, at receiver is Corey Davis. So Corey Davis is coming in at $6,000. He is the proclaimed number 1 receiver on the Tennessee Titans. But he's going to face Jalen Ramsey. But the narrative surrounding Jalen Ramsey right now is that he could get possibly traded as early as Friday. So right after the game. So if this guy's going to get traded, are they really going to play him a full complement of snaps in a Thursday night game that we're going to trade this guy anyway? Like, we don't want to lose the trade. So for me, it's like, could they sit him down? Maybe he sits himself down. Like, he's like, I'm going to go to no team. I'm going to go to no team, so I'm not going to, risk my body here. There's a lot of different scenarios, and this is the way you got to think with Showdown. You got to think kind of outside the box. You got to think game theory, and this kind of goes out of game theory. This goes into like NFL league theory. But if Corey Davis doesn't see coverage from Jalen Ramsey, then like there's a chance he could produce. Like, he's a pretty good receiver. He's just, he always gets number 1 corners, and he plays in a tough division. So it's like, he is not I would not say he's an elite player. I don't think he can make quarterbacks better. I think that if he was actually traded to a better team, I think he'd actually be pretty good. But he's stuck with Mariota, which kind of sucks for him. But if he does not have to face Jalen Ramsey, I think that there's a really good chance that he could produce big in this game. It's Thursday night. Weird stuff happens. So Corey Davis is someone to definitely target. Maybe you don't throw him in captain spot, but if you can throw him in your regular lineup, as kind of and not a Derrick Henry day, I think that Corey Davis is an interesting play as well. Other Titans receivers I also like, just kind of from actual looking at the field itself. A.J. Brown is a rookie that they drafted in the 2nd round out of Ole Miss, and he flashed in week 1. He's a really good player, and I think that he's also cheaper. He's only $5,600, so he's another option. And then Adam Humphries. So they're talking about how the Marcus Mariota hasn't really built any connection with Humphries. Humphries has played a lot of the snaps, and he's been in the slot for like 95% of the snaps. So he's definitely not going to see any Jalen Ramsey or A.J. Bouye, so any of the really top Jacksonville Jaguars corners. So this could be the game where he finally reaches to that point with Mariota where they kind of connect on certain things. So he's also even cheaper at $3,200, and it would not surprise me to see him get 5 to 6 targets in the slot, maybe 50 yards, and maybe catch a touchdown. Again, don't see an offensive explosion in this game, but I think that those are the receivers you kind of want to target from both sides of the game. Moving on to the tight end position, we've got Delaney Walker, who's priced up pretty high, Jeff Swaim, and James O'Shaughnessy. So Delaney Walker's had some pretty nice games against Jacksonville, but he is kind of pricey. At $8,200, he's actually more expensive than any of the receivers, and he just kind of falls right behind the two running backs and quarterbacks. So I think that he's probably going to be pretty chalky. I think that people are going to be like, oh, well, it's Lenny Walker. Like, they kind of trust him. He's a trusted guy in seasonal leagues as a tight end, and we see some overlap with seasonal players playing in the showdown slates. So I'm not so sure that Lenny Walker is someone I want to target. Tight ends in general just have very limited upsides, and I'm eating my words as I didn't play Greg Olsen last week. But I think that he has never exceeded 75 yards against the Jaguars. But I just think, I think he's going to be chalk, and I think that's why he should fade him. I think for some of these other Titans pass catchers, I think you get better value and it helps you afford, at least one of the mainstay running backs and one of the mainstay quarterbacks. So I'm not going to be playing any Delaney Walker. Also, if you decide to play a Dion Lewis kind of play, there's a negative correlation between Dion Lewis receptions and receptions for the tight end position, so running back tight end. So it's never really necessarily a good idea to stack those players together because they usually share similar depth of target in terms of target share. So I would say hopefully more of it then goes to Dion Lewis and not to Delaney Walker. For the Jaguars, I guess I would actually prefer James O'Shaughnessy. James O'Shaughnessy is weird. He's actually ran more routes than Jeff Swaim and is actually 4 receptions in 2 straight games. His total of 8 receptions on the season actually ranks top 11 in the NFL. So if you're looking to punt somewhere, James O'Shaughnessy is the guy. Like, he's got 4 receptions the first week, 4 receptions the second week. I mean, he's basically a lock for 4 receptions this week, and it's great because his prop is at right 4.5. So if you're feeling dangerous, that's when you want to take the over. Go for 5 and make sure you throw him in your Draftkings Showdown lineup so you get that extra PPR point. Moving to the kicker, defense / special teams. So again, some of the other slates that we've looked at, you see that each of those teams has either a kicker or a defense in it. So that's something to keep in mind, that those rosters have those in there, and it shouldn't be overlooked. And I think that a lot of people would do overlook them, but especially in this game where it kind of screams that this could be a defensive struggle, that you definitely want to have at least a defensive kicker, maybe even one of each. Honestly, you can definitely benefit from doing that. So what you would want to do here is make sure that you go with, I would actually play Santos, the kicker for the Titans. The last 2 games at Jacksonville, the Titans kickers have actually been forced to kick at least 7 field goals. So in the two games, they've had 7 field goal attempts. So that was especially if you think the Titans are going to win. I mean, even if the Titans don't win, I would say Santos is probably the better play at the kicking position. I think Mariota's is worse, and I think that Minshew is more likely to just score touchdowns in this game. So I'm going to go with that. And then on the defensive side, I would say that the Titans defense is probably the better play. Again, Mariota does not force the ball downfield. He's being very conservative with his approach, whereas Gardner Minshew is kind of running around with his, jock strap on or whatever in his warm-up suit, and he's kind of doing his thing. And he actually had 3 fumbles last week. He only lost 1. So he's definitely more likely to turn the ball over. And I think that, the Titans are favored. So if the Jacksonville has to catch up, then there's a chance that they're throwing a little bit more and being more aggressive. So those are my picks, guys. Again, so Carlos Santos is at 3,600 and the Titans D is at 5,200. So again, those are my picks, guys, for this showdown slate for our Thursday night football on DraftKings. You've got the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Definitely tune in. Definitely watch the game. And make sure you, put a lineup together. Trust me, it'll make the night go by much more pleasantly for you. Instead of screaming at, why this game sucks so bad, you'll be screaming and excited about how your roster is absolutely smashing across all the GPPs that you entered. So thanks again for tuning in, and make sure you check out the website for all of our updated content for this upcoming weekend of games. Good luck.